I'm gobsmacked at that one, to be honest with you. And it actually shows. I'll tell you what she's doing there. She's shooting the messenger. She's basically saying, oh, meteorologists got it all wrong. And, this is why we got the floods, and this is why people lost their homes. And sadly, there's some deaths along the way. She's the wrong person in the wrong place at the wrong time. And this goes to the heart of government, to be honest with you, in terms of, I'll use the word inept because that was an inept comment. Inept people in those positions of power saying what they're saying, making people like ourselves in my profession and the Met Office included, that this is somehow our fault, that people are losing their livelihoods, their homes, and even their lives due to meteorologists. Well, I've got news for her. That's just all wrong. And as I say, gobsmacked, Beth.
And Jim, there is history in this blame game, isn't there? We had the wrong type of snow in 1991, that crippled British Rail. And then we had Teflon leaves that fell too fast in 2010, also crippling the trains. Isn't this just down to one thing? And it's the British are terrible at planning for any form of extreme weather.
Yeah, we are, Martin. Well, we are and we're not. I think the warnings that we're giving out are the first step. And if people take note of those things, then, actions can be taken, property can be saved, potentially, and lives can be saved on the back of that. So warnings are the first thing. But I think the next stage, you're dead right. This is a conversation that needs to happen. Where are we now? What have we got to do? Particularly for these poor people in River Valley areas. Where this is going to happen again into the future. We won't get into climate change, but nonetheless, they are susceptible to this. And so government, who've been in power for 13 years, seem to have done next to nothing. And when it happens, and then come out in an House of Commons committee and suggest somehow or other rain was coming from the south, so it wasn't the right direction, and it's all its fault, or it's all meteorologists' fault. No, sorry, not at all, Theresa Coffey.
Jim, the other thing that, of course, people are saying, and I've seen this with my own eyes, and there's some brilliant videos online, is that the trouble is councils have not swept up any leaves this year. And we had no mow May in West London, so we had all of this grass that grew on all the pavements. It looked disgusting. Then they came and mowed it in about September. There's still grass all over the pavement. And the grids are full, aren't they, of all of this debris because the council hasn't done any leaf sweeping. And so the drains are blocked. That's part of the problem.
So Bev, behind me is a lot of trees. I'm in a place called Keep Hill Wood in Wickham. You can probably see it now, yeah. And a lot of those things haven't dropped their leaves. But to be honest with you, that would have been a minuscule reason for blockages, drains, etc. Yeah, it's always part of the equations. Martin's already mentioned the leaves on the line and that type of thing. It happens periodically, it happens every year in some shape or form. But primarily the reasons for seeing what we've seen in the last few days, and even now this morning in central southern England, down towards the Isle of Wight, there's been some very heavy rain there as well. You get these events that occur that are out of kilter from, let's just say, normal weather, extreme weather, and yeah, they will always catch people out to a certain degree, despite the warnings that we're given. But I just go back to where we started, Bev and Martin, and that is for a government minister to sit there and start blaming the direction of the wind in terms of where the rain is coming from on the catastrophe that's happened to some people watching this programme today and wondering and scratching their heads saying, no, it's lack of planning, lack of money, and lack of endeavour by this government. They have 13 years to do something about it, and they've done next to zero.